test it.
Okay, we are currently recording right now, I think.
Alright, cool. So we're live.
We are live. Let's just see how it reacts to us.
No sudden movements.
No sudden movements. Can you hear us, Gab?
I can hear you, yes. I have the visual lag, but I can hear you. Figo, can you say something?
Yeah, I could say a couple things if you like.
Okay.
There's like random staticky things in the middle, but it's not that bad.
Okay, it's not terrible. We'll just talk slow, see how we can get through this. Welcome to the show one more time. Small Screen Society, episode fucking pilot.
Oh, we're just going to a pilot now? We're not even keeping track?
Does that mean that we're starting over?
No. Technically, this would be to episode 88. I don't want to start over. We're not at 0.
Just,
we recorded a lot.
Let's do 79-1 or something like that, or 88-1.
Something like that. I'll figure it out. But we're in the 80s. That's where we're at.
Right. So this is episode 88.
This is the YouTube pilot.
Wow.
It's pretty momentous for us because we've been talking about this for like
6
2
seasons
years.
now.
I want to point out, in preparation for this big moment, I got a light. I rearranged my room.
Correct.
I bought a new camera. I set things up. But if you look at Ramel, piss poor cave lighting, hasn't shaved. It looks like he's reporting live from Gaza.
Hunker down
with the headset, like the Gaza reporter headset.
Yeah. If it had an antenna coming out the top.
Camo gear.
It's a war zone out here, and I am lucky to be alive.
Listen, man, this is just where we're at.
Ramel, right now you're the living embodiment of "fuck it, we'll do it live."
Absolutely. But I've always been that way. So this is where we are. This is where we are.
There's no shocking here.
I will prepare better as we figure this whole thing out. I just wasn't sure what we were going to getting into this episode.
Yeah, well, to be fair, we didn't think this was going to work anyway. So I mean, here we are.
And it technically doesn't look that great because, like, the image for me it's so lagging because my internet sucks. So
I think the verdict's still out on that. I'm thinking it's the pirated software that we could be using.
It's also very possible. They're probably also not giving us, because this is the free version, not the best quality in terms of
bandwidth.
Streaming.
Yeah. That's also a thing. Well, again, if this works out, we'll pony up for the subscription.
Correct. Don't worry. We are using Riverside FM. We are testing their system.
Sponsorship.
Yeah.
When we go live again for the video, I'm gonna need you to make a set.
Well, no. It'll all get sorted out. Don't worry about that.
At least a haircut, just something. Just
100%. Yeah, we'll be cleaned up. We'll be cleaned up real nice. It'll be a whole.
You look like you filed Chapter 9 bankruptcy.
Things don't look good at home. I'm just gonna say it. Things don't look good,
man.
How are things?
So I just really infuriated by the contrast of the casualness of you and then the pretentiousness of what I'm doing. I look like D. Reynolds with a level of light.
Correct. D. Reynolds.
I was gonna say, the amount of light that I actually have blasting me in the face right now, it's actually painful.
Yeah.
Like,
gentlemen, what do we want to discuss? What do we want to discuss in this pilot episode? Looking like the Miz.
You're watching on TV.
It's baseball, Yankees baseball. This actually helped a lot because, like, yeah. I don't know. What do you want to discuss? I mean, I talk to you guys every day, but it feels like I haven't really talked to you guys. You know what I mean?
So I'm gonna let Gab take the lead, which the guy with the worst internet, but it's okay. I'll let Gab take the lead here because I guess this is a condensed pilot episode, but we will discuss some big news in streaming stuff that we always talk about. Almost every week we're discussing HBO Max and DC and shit like this. So
exactly,
we might as well use this time to discuss a very big thing that's happening in these streaming wars or whatever we'll call it. Right now, currently, yes.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I can't see shit with these glasses on, so you might be. Oh.
Yeah, you're fine now.
Okay. I don't know. It was not a focus. Okay. So,
go ahead.
Today on the pilot episode.
Correct.
Big news out of Hollywood. So, and it came out of left field. I didn't hear any like whispers about this being reported before, but apparently, AT&T, who is the mother company who owns Warner Media, so Warner Brothers, HBO Max, DC Film, Fox Searchlight's over with Disney, but all of those sub film studios under the Warner label is owned by AT&T. AT&T bought Warner Media. It became official in 2018. But they had started that process back in 2016 to acquire Warner Media. AT&T being a telecommunications company, where we sell phones, we sell fucking tablets. We want to get Warner Media to find that crossover sweet spot for streaming, HBO Max, and with their telecommunications company in order to sell more product, I guess. So HBO Max was really the baby, I guess, out of what AT&T wanted to do when they acquired Warner Media.
Right.
The thing is, that was finalized in 2018, and we're currently in 2021, and AT&T is going, I immediately regret this decision. Ron Burgundy 100%, they're like, this was a fucking flop, we shouldn't have done this. It cost them over, I think it was $150 billion in order to acquire Warner Media. So that's $150 billion in debt that AT&T took on in order to acquire it.
Gone.
And not worth it. They're broke. They can't they can't make. And I think if we talk a little bit, if we go to Snyder Cut for a second, one of the biggest arguments against the production of further installments, that is just how expensive it is.
Are we on a streak of saying Snyder Cut?
I believe
there's no way that we haven't avoided mentioning Snyder Cut in at least 4 months. No.
It's probably me. I think I mention it all the time because I'm very much a member of the church.
Of course. But as a collective, in our episodes, we have said it. It's kind of like the new Batman streak.
It might be the new Batman.
Yeah, it's like the new Batman for sure. And now we have video evidence of all the times we bring it up.
Yeah.
Nice.
We're going to make montages of the count of all the things that we say.
Yeah, exactly. And now I can put a little dinger,
a little ticker,
a little ticker
nice.
for
a little ticker,
yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot.
So continue. So AT&T is dead broke now because of this.
They're
it's AT&T, so they're a huge company, so they're not going to be dead broke. They're not going to be file for bankruptcy because of this. But
no,
it's a big loss.
It's about the fact that they are not an entertainment studio. They're a telecommunications company. I don't think they have the bandwidth to really focus on what it takes to run those studios and those IPs.
Right.
And I think they know that. So they're basically fuck this, we're out.
They try to do you've got companies that looked at the streaming looked at the horizon and saw, holy shit, there's a lot of fucking money to be made in these streaming services. Right. So AT&T goes, hey, we have a fucking ton of cash. Let's just buy a big name brand in terms of entertainment and create our own thing.
Right.
That's another flow of cash, like what Apple did with Apple's streaming service. But here's the difference. Apple had a fuck ton of money to just kind of throw away here to like try to do this.
Yes.
So I don't like, and they also went in kind of light in terms of like how much they spent on this compared to the $150 billion that they spent. Apple said they're only doing original content. Like that's how they're easing themselves into this instead of just going in and buying a whole bunch of shit.
The thing is, so with AT&T, what they're doing, what they're planning is this. That's how much debt they have in acquiring Warner Media. So what they've done is they've spoken with Discovery that owns Discovery Channel, Animal Planet. I want to say TBS. I think I'm wrong about that.
I believe you were right about that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of subsidies under, or like sub channels under the Discovery flag. Yeah. And so what's got GTV, the Food Network, those are all Discovery.
Right. TLC, Travel Channel. There's a bunch, like you said. Yeah.
Correct.
All the same. So what's going to happen is we know there's Discovery Plus. They have their own streaming services. But with the market becoming as saturated as it is now, what we know for a fact is there's too many cooks in the kitchen. There's just not enough market to keep all of these different platforms afloat. It's just not possible. So what's going to happen is now that they know that HBO Max can't compete, and Discovery Plus really can't compete either. Well, like it's just not. 90 Day Fiance isn't going to like keep that whole thing afloat.
Right. So it's not really in their. It's not really in their ballpark. Like it's not.
Right.
Yeah. Are you okay?
Evan?
You good?
Technical difficulties, which is even if we're on camera, it's always going to happen.
It's okay. It's okay. Plus, the good thing is I can chop those out.
Wow, that's
amazing.
True.
We're Latino, and we can't climb upstairs without making a shit ton of noise.
Correct.
So the thing is, HBO Max. So what's happening is that Discovery is going to fuse with Warner Media. They're going to form a new company. What it will be named, we don't know yet. But this is where this is what AT&T is going to do. For Discovery to have buy-in into that new company, it's going to cost them about $45 billion. So that will reduce AT&T's debt. And then what AT&T is going to do is going to sell their shares to someone else and get the hell out of there.
Oh.
Okay. So this is where the guess is that Viacom or Comcast could be the person to get that, which would.
I read a little bit of Twitter grumblings that it is also very well possible that Apple could be thrown in the mix here in terms of trying to buy in, because that would be cheap compared to, like for them, you know what I mean, like for compared to how much they make, how much money they make, and how much they have.
So this could actually work out in AT&T's favor with like a bidding war going out, isn't it?
It's possible.
If you get Viacom and Apple and Paramount throwing their hats in the ring, we might have something here.
Because here's the thing, though, like it's this. I know, with regardless of all the problems that HBO Max had and has had since its launch, it's still a very big and very huge chunk of like all the IPs that are part of Warner Brothers, all the shows that HBO has that are just like worldly and known.
Yeah.
These are just very important things in television.
AT&T wasn't really giving the focus to those IPs. And
I know. I know that. I'm just saying that that's why there could be a bidding war, because these are very important things that these streaming giants would want to buy.
With the other, it could.
Right.
I mean, we'll see who wants to buy that package, and I think you're right. Warner has a lot of IPs and a lot of companies that are of that what you would think are of value. Disney Plus is just doing really well, but they have plateaued. They're not going to meet their Q2 subscription numbers. So I think what we're gonna start seeing is like these smaller streaming services are gonna have to start merging into other umbrellas, because it's the only way you're going to actually be able to compete.
I agree. I agree.
It's going to be.
This is the first big one.
Yeah. This is. I not that I saw this coming, because I really didn't see any of this shit happening. But it, in terms of like the way that this has all played out, a lot of this makes sense. You've got these big streaming service giants, Netflix, Hulu, HBO, whatever. They come in and they say, okay, we're doing our own streaming services. We want to compete with Netflix. It's great. They're buying up production companies and studios, or leasing all their movies out and stuff, just to put them onto their streaming service to get subscribers. Okay, great.
Right.
The problem here is, then you've got, all of a sudden, they're making a ton of money. They're making a lot of money with subscribers. And then you've got these smaller groups, like production companies and channels, like, for example, Peacock, for example, like for me, Discovery. Discovery's not massive.
Right.
Discovery is I think, like, what is it, like 10 channels? But they're not like big channels. It's like the Discovery Channel, History Network.
Yeah, there's nothing. That's why I was surprised to even hear their name in the first place. Yeah.
Yeah. These aren't like big name things. So they're more smaller. They're like the cheaper version, like the cheaper, smaller packages you can get on the side.
Right. Like their channels are very like niche. Like you're watching the Food Network if you want to learn how to bake a quiche.
Yeah.
You're watching History Channel for American pickers and shit. They're not really. It's not like an NBC or CBS. It's not. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like all these.
The thing is with the CBS and like NBC and all that stuff is that there's conflict of like they can't absorb each other. So
I know. Yeah.
Universal can't absorb like CBS or something like that. But what makes this a really attractive package is that Warner Media and Discovery are not affiliated with any of those other companies. So it really is a juicy apple for the picking for one of them wants to merge with it.
Well, that's when I say like what was happening with the smaller ones, like even then you start getting into even smaller stuff. DC having its own streaming service. WWE Network having its own streaming service. These are literally like just like singular channels or singular things that are trying to compete with these massive players.
Yes.
It was never gonna happen in terms of really staying afoot for these smaller brands. So it makes sense.
Streaming services, sure. Yeah.
Yes. No. At the birth, correct. But now, and the further we get into this, it's less likely that these smaller things are going to stay afloat, and they're just going to start getting gobbled up, just like Walmart lands in a location and starts eating away at the mom and pop shops.
Yeah, that's a good.
Like it's just like it's not sustainable for these smaller things to stay afloat compared to all these. And then they're going to get big offers, and these big giants just want more subscribers. So they're going to go, hey, we're HBO or Warner. Let's just add all DC shit because Disney has Marvel, so we might as well add you guys. And you guys are cheap compared to, what it would cost to buy Marvel. So let's go ahead and grab you up. Peacock goes, we're NBC. We've got a whole lot of stuff. We've got things like The Office, Friends, but we need more. So let's go ahead and buy some sports packages. Go ahead and buy WWE, because that's just how it is. They have the money. It's gonna keep happening.
Right. Like NBC wants to literally fold channels just so people can subscribe to Peacock, and they have successful channels. Like NBC Sports is a good example. They're literally it's one of the more popular sporting networks. They're gonna just fold it just so people get subscriptions to Peacock. Right. It's an arms race, is what it is. Like everyone wants these numbers.
That's a good way of putting it. You're just going to just start seeing that kind of shifting into different umbrellas. And I think the name of the game is, we're saying Disney Plus, but the real, the captain of the ship has remained Netflix. Netflix is still standing as the top tier.
I will still say that I was dead wrong in my observation of that when this all was getting announced in the beginning. I thought Netflix was like, they're gone.
You guys are done.
Once HBO, Apple, all these players come in, Netflix is going to fall by the wayside. But they did what they had to do, and they are still standing at the very top.
They are.
But the thing
Even with
Netflix, and I think is why it's also still like too soon to tell, is because this engagement with the streaming platform outlet is still relatively new in terms of how to make it marketable and successful for these companies. So Netflix, who has clearly, what's the term I'm looking for? They have a head start, a very large
of like 10 years. Of like 10 years.
That's very true. Very true.
Yeah. So I think as these companies start merging and you start acquiring more IPs and proper investment, I think that's when you're going to start to see more of a competition between them and Netflix. So that's still to come. I do think now when it comes to the Warner Media stuff, is the other thing that's important to note is it's probably going to be like a giant firing. It's going to be a lot of people losing their positions and their executive positions over at their individual studios, because we know for a fact that they have not really been making the profits that they were expected to be making. And one of the biggest issues with Warner Media was that in-house decision to basically do the date release on HBO Max and theaters for the 2021 slate. That was a huge drama thing for directors, actors, creatives who were not brought into the loop or on the discussion for doing that. So I know that left a very sour taste in people's mouths, and I think it's become, and that the movies haven't really been performing as they've wanted to. They've had to do upfront the bonuses that were, because usually when a film succeeds to a certain degree, the director, creatives, or the actors, they get like a bonus for how much money it brings in the box office. But because of the same day release thing, then there's no way for them to make it, so they had to give the bonuses up front to these Denzel Washington, for that movie that he did, that I forgot what the crime movie was called. He got
all the small things or things or something like that.
Yeah,
the small things.
A bonus up front for doing that. So, and the movies just have it. It's just not. The reality is, there's no reason that a studio that owns the DC IPs should be struggling the way it is. That's just the big thing here. Like,
you own Batman, you own Superman, you own Wonder Woman. Like,
why is it this hard? Like, why is it this slow? So my guess and my hope is that Walter Hamada is out at DC Film. He could be out, and I think Ann Sarnoff could be out, and we already know that Jason Kilar is out. So Jason Kilar is CEO of Warner Media, and he directly oversees HBO Max, but it is the Discovery CEO that's going to run the combined operation.
Okay.
You don't need two people to do the same job, so Kilar...
No, definitely not. Yeah.
Kilar cut. So I think he's the first casualty. Toby Emmerich, who runs Warner Film, like the main WB Studios thing, the rumor is that he was part of orchestrating this merge, because if you remember, a couple weeks ago, Toby Emmerich was fishing for a job over at Netflix.
Oh yeah.
Toby Emmerich was fishing for a job at Netflix, and Netflix said no. And then it's believed that Toby Emmerich and the Discovery people played golf and got to talking and came up with this idea.
It's always golf, man.
Golf, baby. 4 hours with somebody. That's it.
And I fucking hate that game. And it's just, and apparently that's where all these decisions are made.
100%.
That's because there's no better way to do business than swinging away at golf balls.
Yeah, man, you're out there with some important people for 5 hours. Maybe there's some booze flowing. What else are you gonna do?
There's definitely beers flowing, booze flowing.
No. Probably some gambling. Maybe some.
A party bench.
You know how many like deals get done with just like reckless gambling. Like, you know what? I'll give you the rights to this if I make this putt. Like, oh yeah, go for it, you jackass. And
these are guys that are handling and leading multi-billion-dollar
companies. Yeah.
So they can kind of like dick around with this type of shit. They don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they could be very cavalier.
Emmerich allegedly did this because after he got the boot from Netflix and he heard that Kilar and Ann Sarnoff weren't going to renew his contract next year, so he orchestrated this merger so he could because he's friends with the Discovery guy, so he can keep his job as the head of Warner Pictures.
Wow.
Roland Emmerich is his name, right?
Toby Emmerich.
Roland is a film director.
So
I kept thinking that it was him.
So basically, he beat Sarnoff and Kilar to the punch, and they're likely going to get ousted while he keeps his position.
Gotcha.
I don't think he'll be Emmerich leaving. I think he'll probably stay in his position. The key for, like, again, Snyder Cut, Snyderverse fans, people who like that stuff. This doesn't mean Zack Snyder's definitely coming back. It just means that this looks better than it did last week because it's anything that isn't currently in production at DC Film is now not official.
They're just gonna like completely cut the
At
ideas
this
and
point, this is some straight up Survivor level bullshit. They're like, there's a twist in the game.
Right.
No one has immunity. So nothing from that isn't currently going into production in 2021.
So the Flash is good then.
The Flash is good. It's already in production, and so is Black Adam. Aquaman 2 will go into production later this year, and I think that will be fine. And I'm pretty sure, and Shazam: Fury of the Gods is also way too far in pre-production that will be safe as well. So those four and of course the Batman and Suicide Squad, which are already done. So those movies are the ones that are for sure you are going to get them. What is up for grabs now is some of the other stuff that has been talked about. Today they announced that the Batgirl movie is happening and it will be directly for HBO Max. Why announce that now? I suspect that there could be a chance that there's going to be some announcements being made for certain things because it's the equivalent of I think it's a little bit of Billy Madison, like to try to like take as many shots as you can before you're out.
Right.
So Batgirl allegedly is still happening and will be an HBO Max exclusive. But as for Justice League Dark, Zatanna, Green Lantern Corps, Static Shock, we can't say
Superman,
for sure that those projects are happening, huh?
The new Superman with possibly a black Superman. That was just an idea that had floated around.
I think that one is safe, and I think because of the cultural context of it, I think that one will likely still be made. But when you have this merger with Discovery and Warner Media and AT&T dips, and this merged company might be owned by someone else, money might not be as big of an issue. So the excuse of why the Snyder... And remember, Hamada was brought on specifically because of his work at New Line Cinema for making deep movies and making them and having them make a profit and be successful. So that's why he was brought in as DC Film president, because clearly money has been an issue, and that's why he's fucking trying to produce cheap-ass movies on a budget so that to build back some more cash. Is that still necessary with the merger and a new parent company? I don't know, but we'll see what ultimately what it comes to. But this probably won't be finalized until halfway through next year, maybe, when we'll have an official. Because this also has to go through the government. Like the government has to approve, like that. The same way that when Disney acquired Fox, the government had to give its seal of approval for the merger.
Yeah, because you can't. Yeah, they have to prevent monopolies and stuff like that. So they have to go through all this. You got to go through this whole process, and these are regardless of me saying that it's big giants gobbling up little small ones. These are still very large acquisitions. Like it's going to take some time, but I don't think that there will be a problem with this going through at all.
No, I think it'll.
I think if Disney Fox went through, there's no reason as to why this one won't.
Right. This one shouldn't.
Right.
100%.
I don't see a logical reason as to prevent this from happening.
The biggest thing for me is just what's going to happen after this and when AT&T sells its shares, that's where I have my eyes like set on, and that's just because I'm excited kind of to see who's going to buy that out, what is it going to merge with, what is it going to become. I like that news. I like this. You don't know what's going to happen. Who's going to be a bigger player in the game now? Is it going to be Viacom? Are they going to be now part of Paramount, which owns MTV, Nickelodeon, all those things, to then also add Discovery and all these things?
I think that's under Viacom.
What?
I think that's under. It's either Viacom or Comcast owns Paramount.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it would either way it would be Comcast owning it. Right.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
So then it's even a bigger collection of IPs. So that's a real competitor to Netflix and Disney Plus. I think that's going to be a real, and I think this new CEO, the new guy from Discovery, is he a Snyder fan? I don't know.
Let's fucking hope so.
He did say in an interview, he was saying pretty much like, I'm gonna go out and speak to creatives like in their like where they are. Like he's gonna take trips to like New York. He's gonna be in Los Angeles. He's gonna speak directly with creative people because you want the talent signing up to work with Warner, and we'll see how Army of the Dead does for Netflix.
And right now, everyone's gonna. Most of Hollywood is going to have a sour taste in their mouth from what they've all heard of Warner Brothers. Mm-hmm. So it's now going to be his job to come in and kind of clean up that reputation, clean up that environment that they've created there. Yeah.
I think I think it stinks for because to that drama. Once Gal Gadot confirmed her conflicts with Joss Whedon, it was a much louder response, and people were like making about how Ray Fisher's comments and confessions about that whole situation weren't like taken that seriously. I think the race element sure plays a role in that, but I also think the fact that Ray Fisher has not broken through into that like fame level to have that reverberate in the way that Gal Gadot could. So we'll see. I do think it doesn't look good for Warner Media. So I'm hoping that. Look, man, I just want fucking more Zack Snyder. That's all I want.
I mean, I want good quality content. I want good quality TV. I mean, if we get more of the Snyder shit, awesome, because I very much enjoy the Snyder cut. But for me, it's just like I want like just big shows, bigger movies. I want all this stuff. So and I think 100%. That this is only gonna, as crazy as it's been for HBO and all that shit, I think this is good for them. I think that for HBO, that brand, that network, I think that this is gonna be better for them because they're gonna now be under someone or something that actually is gonna give a shit and put effort into it.
Whatever. My problem is like if he's buddies with Toby Emmerich, I don't know if they're gonna still, because Toby Emmerich was against Snyderverse. So let's see how that all plays out. I think the biggest things to pay attention to now are what will the name of the new company be? Maybe that'll be sooner rather than later when we know it. Yep. And two, the next big thing to pay attention to is who is going to keep their seats and who's going to be voted off the island. Who's going to get to stay in their jobs. Keelar is that body is getting cold. Like I don't think it's first chance in hell that he gets to stay. And also there's just no job for him now, unless they're going to keep him just singularly running HBO Max, which who knows how that's gonna work.
Right.
That's gonna play
out. That's where it is now, and that's what we have to pay attention to with the development. So for all the movies that are coming out that are in production, going into production this year, those are definitely happening. Everything else is in the air. Let's see. So Blue Beetle, which I'm not seeing it on and give a shit. We don't know if that's ultimately going to get made.
But I mean, they also made like Ant-Man cool to some people. So like if they can make Ant-Man kind of cool and funny, then maybe they can do something cool with Blue Beetle for the Latinos. So
you could do.
Depends on who they cast.
Really
it also depends on who they cast. That's correct.
Huge.
Don't cast a corny guy or person or whoever.
Yeah, like Paul Rudd made Ant-Man fun.
Yeah, Paul Rudd was a great casting because he's that kind of guy. You want a guy to, you can't take him super seriously, but like he kind of can get serious, but he's funny and all this shit. So, okay, boys. Well, good first pilot episode.
Solid.
We did it. About 35 minutes. Not bad. We didn't cut out all the way. So yeah. So let's. Next week we'll hopefully have better quality, better internet. I will clean up. I will be I will have a better look. And that's it. That's all I got.
Yeah. And next week, obviously, we're going to be reviewing Army of the Dead, which comes out this weekend. Correct. We have to talk about that. And we'll see about other things that potentially review in next week's episode.
Yeah. We'll have more to discuss. Things that we didn't get to in this episode just because this is a pilot episode and we didn't want to go over too far over.
Yeah.
But okay. All right, boys.
All right, fellas.
Until next time.
Peace out.
Later.
Okay.